Hi, good morning everyone. I am Sanghamitra Rai, a Deputy Director, Kalinga Institute of Social Science, deemed to be University. So today I have a very interesting topic to present over here. It's on diversity and inclusion, but I have named the topic like this: building diversity and inclusion. So let's start the topic. So, really, the world is incredibly diverse, encompassing a multitude of differences across various dimensions. In Asia, diversity is even stronger because it is a highly diverse region comprising a mosaic of many different subcultures. In fact, Southeast Asia is the most diverse region in the world, representing over 100 ethnic groups and a population of 65 million people who speaks more than 1000 different languages and dialects. So we can imagine how diverse the universe or the world is. So diversity and inclusion involves recognizing the interconnectedness of societies, valuing diverse contributions from different parts of the world, and working collaboratively to address global challenges related to inequalities and discrimination. It requires an ongoing commitment for total human spectrum to learning, understanding, and respecting the richness of human diversity on a global scale. So we should know what is really diversity and inclusion means. So, in a nutshell, I would like to say diversity is the characteristics, experiences, and other distinctions that makes one person different from another. It does mean people of different race, ethnicity, gender identities, and sexual orientations. And it is not limited to it only. It also represents a broad range of experiences, including socioeconomic background, upbringing, religion, even marital status, education, sexual orientation, neurodiversity, disability, and life experiences. So it has vast dimensions. And in this context, what is inclusion? So, inclusion involves creating an environment where all individuals are valued, respected, and empowered, regardless of their differences. It is a proactive and intentional commitment to creating environment that embrace diversity, promote equality, and cultivate a sense of belongingness. So it looks same na, it sounds same also. So often we use diversity inclusion like a same word, yeah, in same sense. So if we will if you will know what is diversity versus inclusion or what are the key differences, it will be much clear. So the term diversity and inclusion are so often used together that it is easy to think that they mean the same thing. However, diversity and inclusion are distinct concepts and they are not interchangeable. Like example, suppose we can say that an environment can be diverse but not inclusive. How? So it means diversity and inclusion is not same thing. So we can take an example also. For an example, that may mean having one black employee in a predominantly white group or one woman on an all male team. The sole black person is put in the position to speak on behalf of all black people in the entire Africa, suppose. So that doesn't mean it is we are addressing diversity. For instance, having one member of an underrepresented group present in a group are example of tokenism, not example of diversity. So tokenism often understood as diversity, but tokenism doesn't help diversity, and it's um, uh, it is detrimental to inclusivity. Suppose we are saying that one underrepresented group person is representing for its group, so that doesn't mean diversity. That's tokenism. We have to understand that. So then diversity is the mix of differences. So it may be race, color, gender, socioeconomical status, background, like it is a mix of differences. It talks about who we are. But inclusion talks about how we feel. So it is possible for an environment to be diverse but not inclusive. Conversely, there are many workplaces that are inclusive but not diverse. While explore the significance of diversity and inclusion both in the workplace and in the broader social context, and their profound impact on fostering innovation, equity, and social harmony, we have to understand different prospects and context of diversity and inclusion. I think now we are clear what is diversity. And throughout history, societies have grappled with issues of discrimination, inequalities, and exclusion. So I have given one example, that Civil Right Act, how it has come from civil right movement. So there have been significant strides towards gender inclusivity and equal opportunities. Understanding the historical context is essential in recognizing the progress made and the challenges that remain. This exploration will shed light on pivotal movements and individuals who have saved the path to more diverse and inclusive society or world. So historical perspective is very important. Then cultural context. What is cultural context? In a world that is becoming increasingly interconnected due to globalization, acknowledging and appreciating various cultural background is essential. In a world that is becoming increasing, there is an increased demand to acknowledge the diversity and inclusion. So we can see various dimensions of diversity. So there are a lot of dimensions of diversity and inclusion, and those are like cultural diversity, ethnic diversity, racial diversity, gender diversity, neurodiversity, age diversity, sexual orientation diversity, disability diversity, socioeconomical diversity, thought and perspective diversity, and similarly the inclusion also. The dimension of inclusions are like cultural inclusion, gender inclusion, racial inclusion, religious inclusion, disability inclusion, age inclusion, economic inclusion, educational inclusion, social inclusion, digital inclusion, community inclusion, political inclusion. We should take one example. Like suppose, what is age diversity? We are saying age diversity, then we are saying age inclusion. Again, it seems like same, but it is not same. When we are talking about age diversity, it acknowledges differences in generations and age group. A diverse age workforce can foster innovation and a broad range of skills. But when we talk about age inclusion involves respecting and including people of all age groups, from children to the elderly, in decision making, services, and opportunities. So now we must be clear regarding the dimensions of diversity and how it works. So then we need to understand what are the various obstacles or barriers to diversity and inclusion. So whether how they are existing, and how today we need to address all those. So we have to understand there are a lot of things which are barriers, but I have also grouped them into 5 categories, and try to explain those things. So first of all, you can see that it is a lack of adequate knowledge, and there is a sign also. So that is also understood what it may be. So what is then lack of adequate knowledge? Lack of knowledge or ignorance about different culture, backgrounds, different perspectives and experiences may lead to narrow down our worldview. So though that is a important barrier. So we need to know about or have adequate knowledge about all these things. Then stereotypes and bias. Stereotypes and bias act as significant barrier to achieving diversity and inclusion at various settings, including workplace, educational institution, and social at a large. So we can understand what is stereotype or bias from one example. Suppose sometimes we know that in the society there is a belief or like cooking has been considered as it is the primary responsibility of girls. So that's a stereotypes, or we can say that's a conscious biasness among people or with society. So then it coming discrimination and microaggression. What is that? We can imagine a scenario where among a male and female employee having equal qualification, the male employee got selected for promotion based on the biased assumption about gender roles. This is a clear example of gender discrimination. So likewise, what is microaggression? It may be making some confusion, the word microaggression, making a comment or action that express prejudice against a marginalized group of person. Like when we say, when white people basically say looking at a black people that when I look at you, I don't see color. This is a remark. This is a remark with prejudice against a marginalized uh, person or individual. And another is lack of representation. In a large institution, the top decision making bodies like committees, core committees, or any functional committees, those who are taking decisions at top level, they lack representation from other gender, ethnicity, and age groups. This lack of representation hinders board's ability to understand the diverse need of the employees. It reflects to the barrier of diversity and inclusion as it limits the range of voices and experiences at the highest level decision making. Then it is systematic inequalities. Here also the picture show what is systematic inequalities. I have tried to take a symbol which will be self-explanatory, but still I will explain it. When the fabric of organization, institution or governments contains an embedded cultural, linguistic, economic, religious identity based bias which provides advantage for some members and marginalize or produce disadvantage for other members. What does it mean? Suppose in a system, school in wealthier neighborhood have access to better facilities, and on the other hand, school in economically disadvantaged areas struggle with inadequate facilities. Am I clear? So then it is systematic inequalities. The same school, but when it is located in a like a wealthier neighborhood, then the students are getting all facility. But when it is located in an economically disadvantaged area, then the students are not getting adequate facilities. So that's a systematic inequalities. So using inclusive language has an important role to play to promote diversity and inclusion. Then the last point I have mentioned here, promoting inclusive leadership. It's also in today's world, if we want to transform ourselves, then we need a leader who is an inclusive leader. And inclusive leaders set example by demonstrating respect for diversity, actively listening to different perspectives and valuing contributions from all members of the community. They work to eliminate systematic barriers and bias, promoting fairness and equity in policies and practices related to education, employment, and other opportunities. So, inclusive leader is a demand of today to make this world a better place for everyone. So I can share a success story also over here. The strategies I have explained here. Um, if I will give an example here, I will share with you a best practice. I can say that's a better word, so that we can understand properly how an institution or an organization or a society as a large or in the community we can take strategies to make that place more inclusive. So I would love to give the example of my organization, um, that is Kalinga Institute of Social Science, KISS, an institution running on the principle of diversity and inclusion. And that institution has practiced this as its basic value. So I will just take you a few minutes to explain, because it is if I will start telling it will take a lot time, but I have tried to uh, present you in a glance. Like, it's an institution which serving the most marginalized and vulnerable community, that is tribal community. And Kalinga Institute of Social Science is the world's largest residential institution, which provide free education to 30,000 indigenous children from KG, starting from KG to PG, starting from kindergarten to PG or PhD level. So there are 72 tribal groups who are a part of this institution, and this 30,000 is the present scenario, and almost if we will include it with the pass out, like with alumni and the present student, it is like 70-80,000 students. Yet till date Kalinga Institute have already served. Then it addressing hunger and education. KISS has been successful in addressing both hunger and education and ensuring sustainability. And it is also addressing gender equality, because 60% of its students are girls. So it gives emphasis on girls education, and since it's a residential institution, it also encourages girls, so that girls will get a safe place to complete their study. Then in staff recruitment, if I will say that from different ethnicity, this institution have staffs from different ethnicity, from different language, and from also person with disability background and LGBTQ plus community. Maybe this is the first institution who was appointed and a person from LGBTQ community in a higher education setup. And then policy and practices. Kalinga Institute have many zero tolerance policies like child rights, gender equality, then anti-discrimination, anti-ragging, equal opportunity policy, etc. Along with different committees are in the place for ensuring the equity and justice. Then training and awareness. KISS partnered with many international and national agencies like UNICEF, UNON, UNDP, SDG, and many international players and national players for providing continuous training, workshops, seminars, and certificate courses for all its stakeholders, starting from students, faculty, administration staff, and sport, etc. etc. And lastly, I will conclude by saying the organization's scalable model has gained international attention. You can find the organization detail in National Geography. Then the organization have Guinness Book of Record and many things. Only because the founders, Dr. Achyuta Saman's vision and his inclusive leadership influence extends beyond his immediate sphere of influence and inspiring others to embrace inclusivity and work towards building a society where everyone feels valued and included. If you want to know also more about the inclusiveness of this organization, you can Google www.kiss.ac.in. So that's an amazing organization who is practicing diversity, inclusion, and equity. So some there are some assignments also to practice it. So it's all about diversity and inclusion. So I'm closing over here. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.